I wanted to show you something that is spreading all over the place. It is very upsetting and very disturbing, and it's called Rosette disease. And I'm pretty sure this is my David Austin Golden Celebration Rose. I'm pretty sure this has it. I went to do some pruning just a few minutes ago to prune off or deadhead the blooms, and I looked further down, and as you can see, some really irregular, crazy stuff going on. And when I cut, for example, you see down there, there's a little light green branch that I've cut that's laying on the ground. It was fairly soft, and that's unusual. Usually the canes are quite hardy and strong, so when you cut them, they give you a little bit of resistance. But as you can see, the tiny little scraggly leaves on there, and they also call this witch's broom. So some of these, like for example this one, the shape is irregular and it looks like a witch's broom with the broom part sticking up. So unfortunately I'm going to have to rip this out and remove the rose. It's a beautiful rose. It has a gorgeous golden color, and you'll get like little hints of pink on the edges of the petals. I just love this rose, and there's some new buds, but it's going to spread eventually and take over the rose. So I'm going to have to take it out. They recommend that you take it and dispose of it far away from your yard as possible. I have another David Austin rose here. This is called Tranquility, and this is what the blooms look like on this gorgeous rose. It's like a creamy white color, kind of like a, not necessarily a white, but it's like it has some cream color to it, like a vanilla, I would say. I just trimmed this up first, and I don't see anything, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen to this rose. What's happening is the mites, they're called, I can't pronounce the name of it, but they're little mites, and they're microscopic, that get into the soil and they get into your plant and they wreak havoc, and it causes your plant to grow irregular, to look unusual. It doesn't look like a normal rose plant. So this is a good example of what it looks like here. I do have some new growth and buds, but like I said, it's not going to look like this for too long. So I'm really upset about it. These two roses that I purchased at a local nursery, and they were on clearance, so I only paid $12 per rose. So I thought, wow, where can you go wrong? David Austin roses. So this is quite upsetting. I have some roses on the other side of the fence. They're not David Austin roses, and they are affected as well. I have two of them that are already dead. So I'm going to have to dig those up. So this is just a really sad state of affairs. They tell you not to plant anything in this area for about 2 to 3 years. As far as another rose, you can plant other plants, but just not a rose. I've heard that you can remove it and, wait a few days and put something new there. I've heard all kinds of things, but I don't want to go through this. And these roses are expensive in the first place. I have 3 other David Austin roses. They're in the back of my yard, so I'm hoping that they're going to be okay. But I just have to keep an eye on them. So I want to show you a close-up of what this rosette really looks like. And as you can see, I just cut this one off the David Austin Rose Golden Celebration, and you see there's just tons of thorns. That's really unusual for a rose to grow in that particular manner. You can see the leaves are really scraggly. You have that witch's broom effect right here and this one, and it's just not growing properly. The stems are very malleable, and that's not supposed to occur on a rose at all. But look at all those thorns. They're so close together like that. Just very irregular and unusual. So this is a good sign that I have this. It's happening all over the country from what I've been reading, and nursery growers are nervous about this because there is no cure for this. There's nothing that you can do to save these roses. It's really unfortunate. Make sure when you check your roses to cut, and I was able to easily snap this off. If this was in healthy condition, there's no way I'd be able to snap this off of this plant that easily. I would have to have some pruners to do that. But there's no cure for this, like I was saying. So just check your roses and make sure that they're healthy and strong, and hopefully you won't have anything like this in your garden. It's very upsetting because roses, they're one of my favorite flowers. I don't know when I'm going to be able to purchase any more. It'll probably be a while. But I have some information that I got from my local county extension, and they gave me this paper recently. This is from the Virginia Cooperative Extension, and it tells you all about rosette disease and what it's all about, the symptoms of it. There's really no way to treat it. The only treatment right now is to pull it out. Pull it out, bag it up, and get it far away from your yard, because these mites spread by the wind. So they can land on another plant or another rose and wreak havoc on that. So it's very unfortunate. You can see the pictures. They look very similar to what I have here, as you can see. And this is just so disturbing. It's not even funny. But if you want to go to the website here and check it out and read all about it, here's the information. It's www.ext.vt.edu. And I would imagine they have a search bar, and you can just type in rosette disease and get all the information that you can about this unfortunate disease. It's just really, really crazy. So I wanted to share that with you. So if you have this in your yard, that you can get on top of it right away. I have my umbrella protecting me from the sun, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my beautiful Golden Celebration David Austin rose. This is painful. I don't like this at all, but it's a necessary step that has to be done. Hopefully you don't have this in your yard, but if you do, you want to take care of it right away. So I haven't thought about what I want to put in its place. I didn't think I would have to think about that, because I thought I'd have these roses forever. Roses are supposed to last you for years and years and years. And I was planning on that being the case for me and my family to enjoy, but apparently it's not. So I'm having to take her down. Don't think I will put roses in this bed for a long time, the more that I'm thinking about it. And also, right to the right of my beautiful rose goddess here, I had a Joseph's coat rose there. And you know, I didn't know what rosette was, and now that I'm thinking, it had the same type of symptoms of rosette. It had the spindly looking leaves. It had that witch's broom look, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know what it was, and now that I'm thinking of it, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I might have some old pictures of it. It was a beautiful rose. I loved that rose because the various colors and the flowers, it was just so gorgeous. It reminded you of the tropics. And I'm thinking that's exactly what it was. So I'm, being a little detective here, coming to the conclusion that there's something in this bed that is infecting the roses, because that Joseph's coat looked exactly, or showed the same type of symptoms as this rose. So I hope you guys don't experience this. This is really painful. Like I said, roses are one of my favorite flowers. And as you can see, I cut a little piece of this earlier. See, that's weird, and it shouldn't be so malleable like that. I can twist it and turn it all kinds of ways. It shouldn't be able to do that, but it is. So, not good, and I just pray it doesn't spread anywhere else in my yard. David Austin roses are an investment. Like I said, I got this particular rose for $12. They were on clearance at my local nursery, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And they had several of them. They only had like 3 or 4 varieties, but I picked Tranquility and this one. And I've been very happy with it. This particular rose I had in my back garden, and it didn't do so good. And I think because the soil just wasn't amended. We have a lot of sand back there, but see that? I don't know if you can see because I do have a shadow. I apologize, but that is not normal growth. It's very abnormal. So, goodbye she goes. So, I have a dahlia right next to this rose. I thought about, maybe just leaving this garden bed empty for a while, but I don't know what type of flowers I want to put here. I'm just really devastated that I can't, keep my roses over here. There's definitely something in the soil here, because that Joseph's coat, which I took out last year, had the same symptoms. So I'm going to get this rose. I pretty much have it cut down. Let me bring you down so you can see. I have it cut down to the ground. Then I'm going to dig that part up. And they tell you to dispose of it far away from your other rose bushes. Get it out of your yard so it doesn't spread to other people's yards as well. So you want to protect them as much as possible. There's the rose cut all the way down to the ground. I'm going to dig it up and dispose of it. I've got some up here that I need to get off this trellis, and I'm going to dispose of that as well. So I hope this was helpful to someone. Hopefully you don't have to deal with this, but it's a problem. It's part of being a gardener. It's sad, but I'll get over it. And hopefully I will figure out what I'm going to do with this bed and get some beautiful flowers back here, something bright and cheery. And maybe one day I'll be able to plant a rose, but it won't be for a while. Sure, I can pull this out with my hands, just moving the mulch back so I can see what I'm dealing with here. So I got it out. There's going to be some roots in there, which is again why you don't want to put a new rose in there. Like I said earlier, they said give it about 2 to 3 years before you can even plant a rose in the same spot that you removed a rose that had rose rosette disease. So that's a long time to wait. But you know, the rose that I purchased from the local nursery, the Golden Celebration, it's given me about 3 years of absolute glory. So I don't feel too bad, and I paid $12 for it. So 3 years, $12 brought me happiness and joy whenever I'd see it. And then to have to remove it, of course, is painful, but it did give me some happiness for a little while, so can't be too upset about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, or not enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from this video. So go outside and take a look if you have roses and look for those signs. If you're not sure if you have it, take pictures or videos and show it. Take it to your local extension office. They should be able to help you identify what is going on with your rose. So I would highly recommend that. I'm going to have my soil tested as well. I have some soil testing kits. I'm going to take to my local extension office and get it tested and see what type of soil I'm dealing with. I don't know if they'll pick up on the mites, but they're very tiny. They're microscopic. You really can't see them with the naked eye. So that's highly frustrating. So it's hard to treat, and like I said, they don't have any cures for taking care of these little things, but they do spread by the wind. On windy days, they can land on your plants and wreak havoc. So anyways, after you've cleaned up and dug out your infected roses, make sure to toss your gloves that you touch the rose with, and also make sure you clean whatever tools that you used. Make sure you clean them very well. I use alcohol on mine, so make sure you clean those really well before you forget and you end up using your tools on other plants and possibly spread some other diseases. Have a great day. Get your trial and dig, and I'll see you in the next video.